UNICEF has raised alarm over the deepening humanitarian crisis in Gaza, warning that almost 2 years of Israeli blockade and bombardment have devastated children's health, education, and mental well-being. After almost 2 years of horrors that families have endured, every single aspect of a child's life has been affected. Tess Ingram, UNICEF Communications Manager for the Middle East and North Africa, told Anadolu on Friday, "Children do not have enough food to eat, they don't have safe water, they are constantly trying to remain safe from bombardments that continue to threaten their lives. Diseases are spreading, and children have just missed out on their 3rd year of school," she said. UNICEF estimates more than 700,000 children should have returned to school in September, but formal education remains suspended. For a 3rd year in a row, classes are not happening here in the Strip, and that puts children at risk, not just for their learning, but for their social, emotional, and mental health. Ingram added. She said UNICEF is providing life-saving assistance, such as malnutrition treatment, water deliveries, hygiene kits to curb disease, and medical equipment for hospitals, particularly for premature babies and malnourished infants. "We're screening children in the thousands for malnutrition and giving them the treatments they need to survive," she said. But she noted that aid remains severely constrained. Aid is being restricted, not enough is coming in, and UNICEF and other UN agencies face bureaucratic and operational impediments that prevent us from working efficiently, she explained. "This is a catastrophe because the children suffer when we cannot bring them nutrition supplies or safe water." Ingram also warned of escalating Israeli military activity in Gaza City. "For many families, there is no good choice, staying in a dangerous environment or moving somewhere that isn't safe. This so-called humanitarian zone in Al-Mawasi is not safe. It lacks food, water, and shelter, and just last week, 8 children were killed there while trying to access water," she said. Despite the hardships, she praised the resilience of Gaza residents. "I've seen tremendous humanity and resolve," she said. The UNICEF official also applauded international efforts to deliver aid. She said a flotilla attempting to bring aid to Gaza would be an important step in ensuring that aid increases, while noting that land routes remain the most effective way to bring in large volumes of supplies. The Gaza-bound Global Sumud Flotilla includes around 36 vessels carrying 500 to 700 activists from more than 40 countries.
A classroom to go to be among children their age and learn some classes, but formal education, again, for a 3rd year in a row, is not happening here in the Gaza Strip, and that puts children at risk, not just for their learning, but for their social and emotional development and their mental health. Children in Gaza need everything, and it's a shame on the world that we are almost 2 years into this and we are still just trying to meet people's basic needs, food, water, and shelter. And why is that happening? Why are we still just trying to meet those basic needs? Well, it's because aid is being restricted coming into the Gaza Strip. Not enough aid is coming in, and not enough different types of aid are coming in. We've been consistently calling on the Israeli authorities to allow more aid of different varieties into the Gaza Strip. That's key. And then secondly, once the aid gets in, we have to make sure that we can pick it up from the crossing and that we have the conditions on the ground to safely take it to the vulnerable families who so desperately need it. And unfortunately, that doesn't always happen. Here in the Gaza Strip, UNICEF and other UN agencies face bureaucratic and other impediments that prevent us from operating efficiently. This is a catastrophe because at the end of the day, it's the children that suffer when we aren't able to bring them nutrition supplies that save their lives during a famine, or safe water to drink to stop them from getting diseases. This escalation in military activity in Gaza City is appalling. The international community has failed to stop what we've been warning about. We saw what happened to Rafah last year, reduced to rubble. We saw it again in Khan Yunis, and now we've been warning about this happening in Gaza City, and it is unfolding before our eyes. There are almost 1 million people there, half of whom are children, who've endured 2 years of tremendous suffering. For many families, they have no good option. They have no option. What do you choose between? You choose between staying in a dangerous, hostile environment and risking your life, or moving to somewhere that you know is not safe. This so-called humanitarian zone just south of here in Al-Mawasi is not safe because it doesn't have the basics that people need to survive. There is not enough food, water, or shelter. And it's also not safe because it continues to be bombed. Just a week ago, 8 children were killed in Al-Mawasi, this so-called safe zone, while trying to get access to water. How is that a safe place if 8 children, the youngest of whom was 3, are killed? So families know that. They have no good choice to make. And that is why we are seeing people in absolute fear and terror about what is unfolding in Gaza City. UNICEF is there, we're doing everything that we can, and we are going to stay in Gaza City to deliver for children for as long as possible. We're providing nutrition treatments that are fighting the famine, we're trucking water, we even have temporary classrooms there for children. But they will be affected if this escalation continues. I think the most critical interventions at the moment are fighting the famine. We are bringing in nutrition treatments and trucking them up to Gaza City, where a famine has been confirmed, to help children with life-threatening malnutrition survive. That's important. We're screening children in the thousands to check if they have malnutrition, and we're giving them what they need to see through that period. We're also bringing in supplies for hygiene materials to stop the spread of disease for displaced families who are moving into incredibly crowded spaces like this one. And finally, we're bringing in medical supplies for hospitals, particularly for preterm babies. With malnutrition so prevalent among pregnant women, more and more babies are being born premature and underweight. And UNICEF is helping doctors in hospitals keep those small babies alive. The flotilla that is attempting to come to the Gaza Strip is just such an important signal of the fact that people around the world continue to care for and stand up for the rights of children and families in the Gaza Strip. If they manage to get through, it is such an important step in making sure that the aid volumes to the Gaza Strip are increased. However, the UN, UNICEF and our partners will continue to focus on land routes, trucks in through the crossings, because we know that that is the best way for us to bring in large volumes of aid efficiently and at scale. The almost 2 years that I've spent working with the team here in the Gaza Strip has reinforced to me just how critical UNICEF's work is. It's life-saving. When we have the chance, we can help malnourished women and their tiny babies. We can stop diseases from spreading. We can educate children. We can try and protect them from being separated from their families. We can reinforce the amazing work that doctors do at hospitals. This is what I've seen here in Gaza. And I've also seen just such tremendous humanity and resolve from the people here in Gaza themselves. I don't know that I would have held up so admirably under the circumstances. I think that the way that people in Gaza continue to look after one another, whether that's sharing food or looking after an orphaned child, is what is keeping everybody going here at the moment, is that real strong community spirit and resolve.
You want me to put the UNICEF on the back?
Yeah, go on.
Because you walk in.
I don't know if the kids are coming with me, are they? You're coming.
Yeah.